body that. I mean, this is what it is. I don't care if you write. Every artist ain't gonna be Jay-Z or Nas. Or sometimes you need a team to help you really be the best you can be. This game is the game, but she doesn't claim to be the most lyrical. But
am I back?
No, not really. You still low.
Okay, I'm gonna restart. I'm gonna come back in.
Okay. Anyway, thoughts on the remix to Every Time with Jeezy.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was gonna be the Hello. I thought it was gonna be that song. I didn't know it was gonna be Every Time, but I could have guessed it would be this one because all of the DJs started mixing Jeezy with her song, and it went viral. It blew up. So I can see how, from a marketing standpoint, they would want to use the song that's already trending high, that's already blowing up. I liked it. You know what I mean? Like I think we haven't seen Jeezy hop on a lot of the rap female artists songs. You know what I mean? Like I can't tell you the last feature he's had with a female rapper. So that's major because, I mean, obviously Cardi was breaking a lot of records with this rollout, just in general. So, I mean, I was satisfied with it.
All right. That sounds like a decent score. Not happy, but happy.
I was satisfied. I don't know. I guess I was thinking in the back of my mind she would have rewrote her verses. I didn't think she was going to use the exact same.
That is actually true, too. That's actually true.
I thought it was going to be a different verse on it, to be honest with you. When I heard it and it was her same verse, I was like, I would have liked for her to tweak it a little bit, or like really give it a different feel a little bit, because now you got Jeezy on it. But
yeah, I think, all right, the only pass I might have her is that she's pregnant. I don't know how that affects somebody going in the studio or maybe writing or giving it, or I have no clue if that's connected to it or not, but I know she has to be like really like at that point right now or close to it. So but I agree. I like real remixes. I like when somebody says, yo, I'm gonna give you new verses, whatever the case is. That being said, the verse was still hard from before. So
yeah, no doubt.
Old school. What's the latest, brother?
What's good, Digiwaxx family? Happy Wednesday. Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was Jeezy was that song, like that beat and that style of music, that ATL style of music was Jeezy's right on point for Jeezy. That sounded like Jeezy's record when he first busted out on it. I think he should have put a second verse on there or something. And then, like Brittany was saying, she should have maybe changed it up. If it's a remix, we expecting something new on it. Not the same verse. But a lot of people are doing that on a remix. The remix just means they didn't add somebody else onto the verse instead of them doing something new to it. But yeah, other than that, I think it was a Jeezy beat. Really, that kind of music really fit Jeezy.
It's perfect style. That's his style.
Yeah, Cuddy, I know you're ready to say something on this.
Hell yeah. Y'all know that record, All There by Jeezy? That's literally the same.
That's what I just said in the chat, bro. Nobody.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I ain't seen the chat. That's the same
recycle, bro.
Exact beat, bro. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I see it. They flipped the All There track. Literally, bro. As soon as I'm hearing, I'm like, yo, this sound like.
The original. Yeah, the original song was
it,
Bankroll, Fresh, and Jeezy. All There. That's exactly the same song.
The same beat. Exact same song, bro.
Same exact, bro. All right, I'm about to send it to you.
I'm about to play that shit. Like, I just typed it up in my Serato. I ain't playing it. I was like, yo, it's the same beat, bro.
The DJs were mixing it together.
Yeah, that's what Brittany was talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Y'all be sleep on them old joints, man.
Well, listen, we going back to this regional conversation we were talking about, because no disrespect, they ain't playing Jeezy like that in New York.
No, they're not.
He played maybe his hits or whatever, like but
you gotta think the last song they played by Jeezy was put on in New York,
They play Jeezy, bro.
Maybe
more in Jersey.
Are they playing Jeezy and Bankroll Fresh in New York?
Nope.
Yeah, they play that record like in the strip clubs and shit. Maybe not like the regular, like in the strip clubs, Starlet and Atlantis and shit like that. That shit is going, bro. Still, even the old school Jeezy.
Yeah, they play a lot of when he was Def Jam. You know, he was.
Jeezy
so
talking about bottom of
New
the
York
map.
plays
Jeezy.
the Jeezy mainstream. New York, you'll play mainstream Jeezy. You'll hear mainstream Jeezy, but you ain't getting into them albums.
So what you saying is
when
New
he
York
first
ain't
came,
playing
no,
no
when he first
Jeezy
came
unless
out,
they sign a Def Jam.
No, when he was with Def Jam, when he
That
first came out, he did all that Jeezy. The first album, second album, and it kind of tailed off around the third. But he was getting it was being played. I was playing it. A lot of people was playing it when he first came out, and that was with Bad Boy that was before when he was with Bad Boy.
That was the Boys in the Hood.
Boys in the Hood. All that was being played. It was played.
So basically, what you're saying is that Atlanta rapper could get a hella play in New York as if he signed to a New York native.
No, they
that's
were.
What you
niggas in New York was
at
fucking
time,
with down south
because
you really can't fight it, bro.
No, I mean it
That's
was
what you just
played.
said.
I don't think a lot of people knew if he was on Def Jam because remember he was with before his solo.
Everybody knew he was rocking with Puff though because Rick Ross was supposed to be in the Boys in the Hood group, and Jeezy took his spot.
And BMF was spending all that money.
I don't know that story.
But BMF was spending all that money
allegedly,
and Diddy was right there, like, let's go. You know what I mean?
Allegedly.
But he was getting that spin, and a lot of people, and that was at the time when Jay-Z was the CEO, president of Def Jam. But people think Jay-Z signed Jay-Z signed. No, he didn't sign Jeezy. That was what's his name from LaFace. He signed
L.A. Reid.
L.A. when he was over there, he signed Rihanna and Jeezy and Neo. It wasn't Jay-Z. A lot of people say, "Oh, Jay-Z put no." Yeah,
because they ended up on the same album together because they had the Umbrella and then the Put It On for My City, and then Neo had the song with Jay, so they automatically assumed it was a Jay-Z thing.
Because if you look at,
Jay-Z had a better price for the keys, B. That's what happened.
Facts.
If you look at the executive producer on Rihanna's very first album, it has L.A. Reid name, not Jay-Z name, but they say that he signed her. That wasn't the case. It was L.A. Reid, Jeezy, Neo, and Rihanna. They just threw his name and that's when I was like, yo, they'll throw anybody's name on anything and have people believe this, that, and the third. The same thing they did with the Barclays Center, and found out later that Jay-Z had less than 1%. Like, they'll throw people's name to make you think, oh, and as you know, they just got their name on it. They don't really own the whole thing. They own a little portion.
Are we over like Jeezy, right? As dope as he is, where the hell's his music at?
Oh, he does have a new record with Drama. He just dropped a month or so ago. I don't know if y'all caught it. But I was listening to it when I went down to Maryland. Which was a few about like last month or so. So I was listening to it. He got it's like a lot. He rapped over a lot of they redid like a lot of old school R&B music. It's with DJ Drama. It's another Gangsta Grill type thing. The Jeezy and Drama did.
Like he did with the Snowfall?
I think you go look it up. You'll see it came out.
Yeah, I saw it come through, and that's crazy because it came through and sort of went away immediately. Like there was no pressure, no promo on it. Yeah, Aisha, we did play. You just played that song. That's why we're talking about it. The remix.
You can hear me still?
Huh?
You hear me?
I think you still low, man. From what I'm hearing, you still sound low.
I turned it up.
What are you using? Are you using your computer or a mic or settings or anything like that?
I got both. I just hooked up the rain to it, but I might have to unhook it and then
you might have to disconnect all that and just use your computer as this.
I'm gonna have to.
Raymond, what's the latest, man? How's
right Cal? Here, brother. Right here. I'm glad Brittany's on early because I wanted to ask her about because I was talking to a couple of the iHeart homies in which she dropped that little thing in the chat about the TikTok creators or something taking over the personalities or something like that. So can you expand on that anymore, Britt?
So from what I read and what I understand is that iHeart is pushing to have basically TikTok on the airways so that you scroll with your ears. So what that means, what I interpret that to mean is like, okay, so you know how like on Instagram or on TikTok, you can take sounds, you can take sound bites of people talking, or if you ever been riding in your car and you have like, you wanted to listen to something on YouTube while you drive or something like that. My thought process is that they're going to be having these creators curate, you know, the TikTok creators that are 1 point whatever million, all these millions of followers, curate something specifically for iHeart that people can like listen to their voice and like, oh, this is this person from TikTok. And in a sense, yeah, like replace radio personalities.
Yeah, I talked to a couple of homies within iHeart, and they got like the inter memo. You know what I mean? Like they said, yeah, this got announced within us, but nobody quite knows what it means yet. You know what I'm saying?
So I think they're going to probably do some type of integration where it's a mixture of both personalities and TikTok. They're probably going to do it in like some test markets. Like probably LA is going to be a huge test market for them. New York, maybe.
Yeah, I've been told it was LA, New York, and Atlanta is going to be like the hubs of this, or whatever the case may be.
So they're gonna see how people are going to respond to it. I don't think that that's going to. I mean, coming from radio, I don't think that that's really going to take away from people still streaming, people still going to TikTok independently. But I think possibly for a younger demographic who maybe they don't have a telephone yet, or maybe, you know, whatever, they have a radio in their room. I don't know how that works, to be able to listen to TikTok creators on the radio.
Yeah, it just feels like this. Go ahead, Steve. My bad.
I'm listening to y'all, and I'm confused as to what the concept you're explaining to me.
It's really feeling like this is. It's really feeling like this is radio's maybe last effort to try to stay relevant. You know what I mean? We can't lie and not say content is what it is. Content is taking over. We've talked about it a billion times. How people are listening with their eyes now. So I mean, it almost makes you wonder because of, you know, think about Apple CarPlay, all that stuff is happening in the car. You know, we talk about how, you know, it's even hard to find your FM, AM, FM radio in the cars now. You know what I'm saying? Like every other app is more prevalent than that. So, you know, maybe this becomes a swipe thing on those screens. You know what I mean? Like it's weird because, you know, like I said, iHeart just did another batch of layoffs too. So it's just like, you know.
So.
Like I said, it just feels like the influencer shit is what it's gonna be. You know what I mean? It's kind of almost similar to Sirius, right? These cats got the channels. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't really have your kind of, you know, off-market personality on a series. You know what I mean? And I think this is maybe iHeart's attempt at, you know, using the people with the numbers, man, to try to bring attention.
So think about it like this, right? Think about it like your favorite influencer did a stream with your favorite artist. And instead of the clip of the radio personality interviewing the artist, you got the streamer, the audio clip of the streamer talking to the artist. So I'll give you a perfect example, right? Because these two people have been very polarizing. So if you get a Blueface and a DDG, people following me via stream, play instead of my 2-minute break. Yeah. I remember when.
I am so confused. I understand. I'm driving in the car.
Yeah.
And I'm listening to DDG, and you're telling me that iHeart is going to be set up to where instead of it playing, let's just say, whatever, Shayla in the afternoons, it's going to go to something that's more relevant from TikTok, a clip from TikTok around that interview that's around the same amount of time, and then go back into the mix. Or
so I don't think that it's going to be completely. I don't think it's going to be completely erased. But I think, like what Ray and I were saying earlier, they're doing test markets, right? So they'll do a New York, they'll do a LA, And then what they'll do is they'll keep the radio personality in the studio because you still need somebody to work the boards, right? AI can't work the boards for you. AI can't plug in the commercials where they're supposed to be. Yes, not yet. But you still need somebody to work the board. So there's still going to be somebody in there, and there possibly is still going to be someone who is going to speak at curated times of the day. So you don't want TikTok to open the show, right? Let's say it's a Big Tigger, in Atlanta. You don't want AI or TikTok to open his show. He's still going to have to open his show. He's still going to have to welcome listeners to the show. Then maybe instead of him doing a 2-minute break, that is where the TikTok audio comes in. He might come back in for another minute break. He might come back for, a longer break. I mean, there's a lot of breaks in radio, guys. So it doesn't mean that every single break is going to be a TikTok. I think they're just going to test it out. But if there's a good response to it, then personalities are going to lose their jobs. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. This is no different than how there's radio personalities in 45 different markets now. One cat's in Chicago, but voice tracks, and the sad part about that is, again, that's taking away personalities' jobs. So now the TikTok influencer is going to be, because again, everybody's buying for time, right? I mean, that's what it's about. You know what I mean? You're playing for your time on the air, you're playing for your slot. So now your slot is going to be taken up by an influencer. You feel me? Crazy though. Big Red, man, thank you for your patience, brother. You still there?
Yeah, I'm still here, man. I was just gonna chime in, listening to what y'all was saying as far as like the TikTok growing. TikTok is actually doing TikTok radio, so iHeart just wanted to jump in on it. They just like, look, we see what y'all doing. We want to, chime in with y'all because like the podcast, you got DJs mixing. People tend to go to TikTok and listen to DJs spin. And you got some DJs on there that's actually, pretty damn good, and people sit and listen to them, and they broadcast them pretty good. And so, so it's catering, to also their podcast. People got their own podcast, just saying what Punch doing. They might look at Punch and say, "Hey, Punch, we like what you're doing with the music on Tuesdays. Let's go ahead on and give you something and we can run with you because we noticed that you got over 3,000 people watching you when you go live." You know what I mean? So it's basically the same thing we doing. If someone see what we doing and we all of a sudden got thousands of DJs on the call every Wednesday, it blows up because they know who the celebrities that we get to come on, and TikTok and iHeart was like, "Hey, we losing, y'all winning. We want to throw our hat in the bag with y'all, put our name in the hat with y'all so we can get some people, to pay attention and also put our name on it." And it's just a monopoly right now from what I'm reading. They just basically know that they giving people, a longer chance, longer podcast time. People listen to podcasts in their car. So, you got the people who talk and whole things on TikTok. So it's like, the same thing as scrolling. You just basically scrolling on your radio in your car, finding those stations on TikTok. So eventually you'll probably have a TikTok app in your car to where you can scroll to find your particular show you want to listen to. You know what I mean? So that's from what I'm reading. And they got what they'll do. They're gonna launch like 25 new podcasts hosted by TikTok creators. And iHeart they just basically wanted their to be with their iHeart personalities as well. So it'll be a combination of everybody. So they just trying to get in on what's hot.
Crazy. You want to run a joint seat?
Yeah, I know this is going to be a conversation because I have a lot of questions, and even more so, what the fuck are the solutions? Because that's where we got to get
be
to.
Influencer.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, what is boy, oh boy. All right, well, check this song out. I heard this the other day. Let me know your thoughts.
Hello.
Hey, what's happening?
Yeah, my mind can't stop thinking about this. The way things look like they're gonna be moving forward. You're gonna have to be on some Sammy Davis shit, man. Like people are gonna be bugging out trying to get. We think it's bad now. It's about to be really crazy. I had a deep conversation with Funk Flex Monday. And you know, we talked, but this was like a 45-minute to an hour conversation about everything. I mean, he was just talking. You know, sometimes you sit back and let a person just sort of just get things that are on their mind, off their chest, just to be a friend or whatever. And radio is struggling. We've been talking about that forever. And I was talking to him, and I was like, you know, Flex, not for nothing, but the days of like trying to get that $1 million or $100,000 or $200,000 sponsor, that's a hard sell these days. Like it ain't like the rest of the country. Everybody's dough is a little funny, you know. Just because it has a legacy symbol in front of it, their books might be twisted. And I was telling him how the difference is you have an influencer, or not even a person that's a big influencer, that will have their TikTok shop and a product up, and they're selling, you know, 20,000 at $20 a pop, and they're getting that 400,000 or percentage of that 400,000, and that you have to start to change and use social media in that way. But to flip into TikTok all the way, it's very progressive, and I don't know exactly what the hell that means when I'm riding in the car, and I'm still trying to figure that shit out, and I don't know where that leaves. Yeah, just a good voice, somebody that knows how to connect to an audience through radio.
Well, what's going to happen is, and this is just my experience, right? As a person who was on the radio, what we loved about our radio's personalities are that they were more relatable, right? We had regular jobs, just like y'all. We had to get up and go to work early. When you do have people who are like personalities, especially super successful streamers and TikTokers, they're detached from reality now. They don't work 9 to 5 like the majority of their listening population. They don't have to deal with kids and get kids off to work. They don't wake you up in the morning and get your day started. They don't have inspirational moments where you might be going through something. You know, radio personalities are like family, because you might be going through something, a cancer diagnosis, loss of a job, and they could relate to you. They could tell you an inspirational word, play a gospel song after they give you some encouragement for the day. And maybe that's the only person your whole day that ever told you to have a good day, or the only person that whole day that ever told you to keep your head up, that you got it. They acknowledge people in the community. They would have people come on to their station who are active in the community, doing things with the children in the community. They would have congressmen and your senators, your state senators on the show, so you will know who they are. So when it comes time to vote, you could put a face or a voice to what your vote was going to be. They would acknowledge people and do highlighted people in the community and say, you're going to be queen for the day because you're out here giving back to your community. Birthday shout outs. Do you really think that the streamers and the TikTokers give a damn about if you can afford milk that day, or if you just got fired from your job and you just need a laugh? You need somebody to like make you laugh on the radio. That is the radio world I come from. That is what my father came from. That's where I came from. That is what the joy of being a radio personality is. And so I grieve the ending of it, because I grieve it's part of humanity that's getting lost in music. Not just, you know, the funny times, but it's part of humanity. So what is that going to sound like when you waking up getting your coffee? It's going to be a whole bunch of 20-year-olds laughing at stupid shit on the radio, and you're going to turn it off.
Damn, that was a piece. I think that's going to go viral.
My question would be, though, is they're not going after us. They're going after the younger crowd, because the younger crowd don't listen to the radio. You know, it's all about demographic. You feel me? So, you know, we all know and love traditional radio like it's what, you know, like our thing was. You know, we come from recording songs on the damn cassette tapes from the radio, all that type of shit. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I ain't going that. I ain't that old. You know what I'm saying? That's not my game.
No, Raymond, we said it. It's about money, man.
It's all about money.
They don't
all about money.
I've been saying it. The people that's putting in this world, it's. I'm sorry, excuse my French. Fuck the humans. Fuck the humans. Let's be real. Fuck all of us. It's for people that got the money. It's about them. That money.
Sound like you ready to run up in the establishment, man. You know.
Listen. Let's be real. We talk about it all the time. It's not about us. It's fuck what we got going on. Fuck the way we live, our lifestyle, all of that. It's to the people that's the millionaires and billionaires. They weren't about them. They weren't about them and their family and staying rich and staying employed. iHeart, the people that run iHeart, they would fire if it's 5,000 people, they're knocking down to 2,000 people. The rest of them people, okay, bye. Microsoft got rid of thousands and thousands. Google got rid of thousands and thousands. At the end of the day, how many people that's on this planet? 7 billion, 8 billion people. Now, if you got billions and billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of people out here with no jobs, what you think this world's going to turn into?
Information part of it. And
think about it.
The details, and then
Punch. I know you've been sitting there with a lot on your mind. Bionic, Malone, talk about it.
Yeah, we was talking about it before too. Brittany made some great points as well.
Now you loud as hell. Now you loud as hell.
Now your shit is like peaking.
We're from not hearing you today. You just blew my eardrums.
Yo, for real. My speakers like fucked up. Hold on, man.
Hold on, let me turn it
down. Yo, you done blew the computer joint.
My dog started barking as soon as he started talking. He was trying to break into my place.
Dog is
we gonna come back to you, Push. Work it out, Bionic.
Everything is an unfortunate situation. However, the only person that you can control in this world is yourself, right? And we often hear certain entrepreneurs and rappers and basketball players talk about the importance of diversification. And a lot of people, when you're on top and everything's all well and good, you're not thinking about shit else. You're not thinking about what other avenue you can take or what other this you can do or whatever else until shit hits the fan. There was an interview that went on, I forget who was interviewing him, but Roy Wood was talking about why he left the Daily Show. And he was talking about he left the Daily Show because he wanted to be the host. They gave him the runaround essentially, and he could have stayed, but he didn't know what his place would be. He didn't know if that other host would rock with him. He didn't know like how things would evolve. So he just chose to dip and figure out his own path. With that being said, it's like a lot of radio personalities I know, when they were high on the hog, they were high on the hog and they weren't thinking about doing nothing else. Same thing with certain DJs, same thing with certain rappers. When shit's sweet, they're not thinking about doing shit else. Then the minute they lose a deal, the minute this station closes down, the minute this happens, then all of a sudden it's, but, and it's like, yo, my nigga, like you could have diversified a long fucking time ago. A lot of radio personalities are really, truly influencers. A lot of average motherfuckers would love to have the numbers that Funk Flex got. You know what I'm saying? What is Funk Flex doing with his, and I'm not saying he's not doing things, but what is he doing with his celebrity to diversify? Has he gotten into coffee? Has he gotten into clothing? Has he gotten into tech? Has he tried to diversify into these other things? And these influencers, that's exactly what the fuck they doing. Some of them have zero talent. Zero. And what did they diversify into? Selling shit, being a brand ambassador, fucking DJing, fucking being a producer, being a fake songwriter, doing all this other crazy shit. And it's like they're diversifying and we're mad at them, but then we're over here like hell. Brittany said it earlier. Brittany said, I have several streams of income. Damn right, she done diversified. She's not happy just sitting around. She just said the radio station she was on, everybody had regular jobs. And they still doing all this community stuff and reaching out to people and all this other stuff. Yo, why the fuck are people not diversifying and just sitting on their ass being comfortable? You know what I'm saying? Yes, all this stuff is unfortunate, but let's look at diversification and let's look at how, like, CL, you said, what's the solution? The solution is diversify and figure something else out. All right, I'm done.
Look at Method Man. He got a new position with the NFL, taking pictures. So it was sweet. He taking pictures on the field.
See, but here's the only thing to that though, where he's Method Man. You know, Marshawn Lynch is taking pictures for the NFL. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing that like I trip out even like in this space of podcasts. How many athletes have fucking podcasts now? You know what I'm saying? These are motherfuckers who already have following. You know what I'm saying? Like these, they don't really need it. They're just like, you know. But like I wanted to tell you because it clicked to me this week. You are Stephen A. Smith of the Digiwaxx New Music Wednesday call. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, he's a Winston-Salem State alum. That's right down the street. Fuck it. I'll be that.
I would agree with that take, Raymond. I think that's probably the most accurate thing that you've ever said on the call. Oh my gosh.
Oh boy, we going left.
No, Punch, how you doing, Punch? You get your microphone work, Punch?
Think so. Am I good?
Nah.
Now you
Yeah, that sound. I mean, it definitely sound better than blowing our eardrums.
Yeah, I started out on the, but we go off on Clubhouse too as well, y'all. So I would just let y'all know that, and then also, what we talking about? Do y'all think eventually, and it kind of has to happen, the mix shows are gonna eventually get tuned out as well. That's only a matter of time before that happens too. If the personalities are starting to dwindle, then the mix shows and all that different things, that's already pretty much happening on a lot of stations too. So. It's going to be obsolete here soon with what we're talking about, and we were talking about it last night as well, that transitional phase. What are we going to do now? And like Bionic was saying, you got to keep diversifying, and that's what we do here every single Wednesday, coming up with ideas, brainstorming, all those different things. So, you know what I mean? Hey, we here doing it, and we live on Clubhouse too as well.
So I guess my question is, you know, there are the other forms of radio. Internet radio is probably like the easiest one that comes to mind. One, is it possible? Because I don't know if it is, that you can grind hard enough to blow an internet radio station up to where the brand goes national, international. Is that possible? Is there enough energy that you could really put okay, Ray said they already are. I don't know if that was
he was talking about something else. But no, to answer your question, anything is possible.
Okay.
But what it is that takes it over, from what I'm just going off of what you just said, just to reply to what you said.
Yeah.
Certain podcasts have taken off because of something people wanted. You know what I mean? So a brand, like you said, internet radio station, it would have to be something that people just want to come back for. And whatever that is, you know, that would be up to whoever the creator is.
Yeah, I was wondering what
I think it's possible though.
Because Amp Radio I thought was gonna be it. And that shit got clipped. I felt rather prematurely, but I don't know what it was cost to run it, but I felt like Amp Radio, they had a social radio situation, which I felt could have been easily monetized. Go ahead.
What is that? What is a social, like, what would you say? What were they doing?
So Amp Radio was like, just like Friday? TikTok or anything else, except for you would go live and you would speak, and then between your speaking, you know, you would play music as a break.
Would you give us your option? Would you like Cash App or Zelle?
But with music.
Yeah.
I'll give you the Zell.
Yeah. So see, and the reason why I asked that, because I really didn't know for sure. I've heard of it because I've been on the call. But man, a lot of this shit it's not foundational, man, and it's not going to last. Like what y'all just explained.
You just explained social media, just without typing on the keyboard.
Social media.
That's what you just explained right now, is what that amp radio or whatever that was doing. So all of that stuff is going to hit a ceiling because to me, it's a lot of this stuff is just not foundational, man. And I know it might sound old, but that's why earlier when y'all were talking about, when Brittany posted this in that message a couple of days ago, I couldn't even understand the headline. So I was just gonna wait to come in here to figure out what was going on. I'm still not even like completely sure on what's happening, but it all just seems very, very plastic, and there's really nothing for it to stand on. And so if anything, what y'all are explaining to me is a way to phase out radio, because there's not going to be a way, and I'm only going off of what y'all are saying, and I know everybody doesn't know exactly what they're doing, but just from what y'all are saying about this, it feels like it's phasing out radio in the sense that you're going to get a bunch of people. Basically, if this were the 90s and we wanted to be on the radio, if we had the loudest bullhorn, we got on the radio and we couldn't sustain it because we never even knew how radio works and the foundation behind it. That's what it sounds like to me. It's just a way to phase it out.
So I would agree that like what they're doing is they're throwing anything at the wall and seeing what sticks. The radio industry doesn't know what to do. They just don't know, right? All they know is that what's happening over here is very successful and it's making money and people seem to be engaged with it. And so right now, one of the hardest jobs to have is to be a program director of a radio station or a marketing director of a radio station, because your whole job is dependent on your competition with social media. And there is no competition with social media. Nothing has been created that can compete with a platform that has the entire world on it.
See,
and
that
the
right
entire
there,
world. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that right there to me is the fundamental problem, is trying to compete rather than being, the best at what you already know how to do. I don't know if y'all saw that Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this past week. Outkast was being inducted, and Childish Gambino was inducted. And he said one thing that Outkast taught them was how to maneuver in the game. He was just like, regardless of what people say about you, the best thing that you can do is to be, what did he say? I know somebody saw it. It's just to be undeniable. That's what he said. The best thing you can do is be undeniable. The problem that I see here is radio is not trying to be undeniable. Like you said, they're trying to compete. If I'm undeniable, I don't care what you're doing on the other side. I'm going to always have something here. So the model seems to have been flawed from the get-go with radio. And this is something that I've had a problem with radio with since I realized what it was back in the early 90s. And that, they're, in a way, it's kind of like they have shot themselves in the foot. Because, Brittany, if you're saying, and mind you, what you're saying is absolutely correct. You're trying to compete with this other thing. You're not trying to compete with movies in a theater. You're not trying to compete with Costco. You're not trying to compete with Whataburger. You're not trying to compete with McDonald's.
Well, you're right, Quantum. But here's the thing.
Would you just say my what? Oh, Quantum. Okay, I thought you said something else. I thought you said my real name. And I was like, how the hell you know my real name? What the hell you talking about?
Oh, it must be. Is it Kwame? Anyway, here's the thing, right? We have our cell phones in our hands 24/7. You can't compete with a movie theater because you don't go to the movie. You don't even go to the movie theater every day. But what you have in your hand every hour of the day is your cell phone. social media there is no competition for social media because you cannot predict human behavior.
But that's my point.
You don't know if somebody never goes on social media or if someone does go on social media all day, every day. The point is, radio had an opportunity a long time ago to shift their model, and they waited until they were in boiling hot water to try to shift their model a little bit. So they're trying to catch up on the curve. They had an opportunity, like I said, years ago when they knew, because they knew that this change was coming. They knew that social media was going to be king.
Yeah, so I'm going to quickly agree with that. Just before we play a record, I'm going to agree with you on that because radio always had the studio and the space